Hey everybody, we are back with the top questions that you were asking on our YouTube channel. Alejandra has got the top 10 questions, and we're going to go through each and every one of them in detail. So,
check this out.
Hey guys, it is Brent Daniels and it is Alejandra Merch.
Hey
and we are here. We've got some amazing questions that you guys have been asking about some of the videos that we have been posting. So Alejandra, first of all, how do you pick these questions out of all the other ones, and how many we're going through today?
So typically we go over 10 questions. How I kind of look at the process is just seeing what is the most common questions that we are always getting asked. But however, we want to try something new where you guys can actually send in a video with a question to alejandra@offerarizona.com. That way we can answer it in this video. We can see you guys, we can put a face to the name, and we can go from there.
Awesome. So let's get going.
Let's get going. So our first question is from Curdy the Great, and he asks, how do you help someone that's behind on taxes and mortgages that is owed to the IRS, and will the money she gets from the selling her house cover all that?
It just depends. Obviously, you have to make sure that she has a good amount of equity, right?
Okay.
Or whoever. If you run across somebody that has an IRS tax lien, it just depends on what else is owed on the property. So let's take, for example, let's say that the house is worth $200,000. You need to buy it for $100,000. They owe $60,000 on it, but there's an IRS lien on it for $60,000 as well, right? So now it's over what you can pay for it. So you're going to have to do some negotiating either with the IRS, which typically they don't really care. Now, sometimes what they can do is they can take that lien and put it on another asset that the person has, or they can settle and only get a certain amount. So you can go through that. It's really, really, really tricky. What I would say is if there's a huge IRS lien on a property and it squeezes out all the equity, move on to something else. You can find better deals. These ones that are really tricky, can you get them through? Absolutely. Should you? I don't think so, especially if you're just starting out. You want to get these easy wins. You want to get some people that have significant equity. Remember, when we're looking for wholesale deals, people are going to trade their equity for speed and convenience. So find people that have equity. But if there's only small amounts, the title company will take care of it. So what they do is they get a payoff statement from the IRS that's going to pay off their mortgage, they're going to pay off their back taxes, pay off any property taxes that they have. Any liens that are on the property get paid through the title company or the closing attorney. So let them do their job. That's their job. Your job is to go out there and find deals and to find cash buyers to match them up with. So let the title company take care of all that. That's what they get paid for. Got it?
Got it.
Awesome.
Okay, Gani La speaks. I love these names. He's great. Where do you find your first cash buyer? And how does that process look like? Okay,
guys, ton of videos on this channel about it, but let's get just nitty gritty. Let's say you've got a deal right now and you want to sell that, okay? First thing that I would do is I would find all of the investment groups all the Facebook groups in your local market. Join them and post that you've got a property and see who starts responding there. Okay, what you can also do is you can start calling the real estate agents that are selling properties in your area, in that neighborhood, or they're representing people that are buying or flipping properties. Call them up and see if their buyers are ready to do another deal, do another project. That's really, really powerful to go after those people. Then the last phenomenal place that people don't go to and reach out to is any of the foreclosure auctions that are all done publicly in your areas. Go to those auctions and talk to the people that are bidding down there. I am telling you, they are cash buyers, they represent a ton of people, and they're going to move really quickly on those deals, okay? So don't be afraid to go down. Now, don't interrupt those people while they're bidding at the auction, because they're not gonna like that, but go over, talk to them while there's a break in the action, and see if they want to pick up your deal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Rescue House says, how many text messages do you send every day? 70% delivery, or what should we expect in responses?
You know, we send out about 2,000 to 3,000 texts a day with a 70% delivery. Typically, we're going to get about 10% back that have some interest in that conversation. So it's about 200 texts a day from that, right? So if you're sending out 2,000, you're going to get about 200 back, and it's just typing and getting through quickly. So a lot of the times with Chris and Eric, and you can watch the video that we just posted, they've got responses already like cut and paste that they can put in so that they can handle that much volume. Now, my suggestion for you is start with 100 texts and just see how that feels. Because if you get 10 back, that's very manageable. And then start growing from there. Don't just go crazy and get overwhelmed and then miss things that you shouldn't. You know, if you've got too much coming in, then you're gonna miss the ones that you really need to pay attention to. So start with 100 texts a day. Got it? Now, there's a couple of resources for that if you are wondering. Text Magic is one that you can get into. And if Lead Sherpa is available in your area, it's a phenomenal resource.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mind of Mike says, hey Brent, I'm a huge fan of your channel. Now I have a question about skip tracing these absentees because a lot of times come back as LLCs. I'm not able to get a phone number. What's the best approach when you encounter an LLC?
Okay, that's really interesting, and this happens a ton. So with LLCs, you need to go and see where the corporate documents are all gathered, right? With us, we go to the Arizona Corporation Commission. Look at your Corporation Commission. Look at whoever runs and gives people their the LLCs in your area, right? Wherever you have to register them, and that's public information. When you register for an LLC or a company or whatever, it's public information. Go find who the managing member and their mailing address is on there. Now, it takes a couple extra steps, but it can be really, really, really powerful because not a lot of people are going to use those extra steps. Remember, in this business, if there are hurdles to get past to get a deal done or to go after a distressed seller, most people won't do it. Most people won't do it. Most people just want to get the easy list and go after them and start talking to people. And I love that. But if you're in an area where you've got a property that is really rough, that you really want to get after, that you really want to take down, go that extra step. Go to wherever the Corporation Commission is or go wherever it is recorded in your area. Just Google it. Honestly, you can just Google it and find that information and find who the managing member is and then skip trace their mailing address and their name. Boom! You got them.
Super duper!
And then attach that to the property, reach out to them, ask them if they'd consider an offer on their property, lock up that deal, and sell it to a cash buyer. Come on!
That's nice! Way to go! Neato, gang! Yes!
Real quick, do you want to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to hand out one of these awesome TTP hoodies.
Let's give it to Jason.
We're going to give it to Jason Hudiska.
Yeah.
Jason Hudiska, reach out to me and you can get a hoodie.
Alejandra at offerarizona.com. We're sending you a hoodie. We just need your size, brother. But thank you, everybody that is participating in commenting and being part of this channel. We really, really, really have so much love for you.
Yeah.
We want you to be like unbelievably successful. If it's just getting your first deal or if it's building your business, we love that. We love that. We want to give you as much value as we possibly can, but we want you to take action on these things. So really appreciate it. Just want to say thank you to Jason for asking this next question.
When do you upload the data to skip tracing? Do you recommend using the physical address template or do you physical address and mailing address template?
Right, so you're gonna put both of them, but what they're gonna pull off of is the mailing address because that's gonna be the most likely phone number of the owner because that's typically where they live. That's where they're gonna register most of their phone numbers to. But you put them both in. When you go to batchskiptracing.com, you put both of them in, they're gonna pull it off of the mailing address, but attach it to the property address that you're trying to get a hold of. So it's way better hit rate. See, a lot of skip tracing companies don't do this or don't understand that, and that's why people have low contact rate or they're talking to a lot of wrong numbers or tenants or whatever. Batch skip tracing has got the whole system figured out. Just upload it and they'll take care of you. So really great question. I get that question a lot, but they usually go off of the mailing address, but they'll attach it to the address that you're trying to get a hold of.
Awesome.
Yep.
Bill Hazen says, does your cold callers know what to offer when they first call? Do they also know how to run comps and know the ARV?
That's interesting. So, Bill, first off, get the number out of them first. Get the price out of them.
Yeah.
That is the art of this. That is the art of asking really great questions and following the TTP script. If you need the TTP script, go to ttpbrent.com. It's going to help you filter through all of these calls to make sure that you're talking to somebody that is actually motivated, which is huge. And it's going to help you to be confident making those initial calls so that you keep doing it over and over and over, and then you're going to get a deal. This is a numbers game. It is a numbers game. The more distressed property owners you speak to, the more successful you're going to be. It's a simple business. It's a very simple business. So let's say that they're not going to give us any information. They're not going to give us a price. You call me. I have no idea, but we're asking several different times how we get the price or what price they want, and they don't give it to us. Okay, well then what I'll do is my cold callers will look at Zillow, because in our dialer is a button. You press the Zillow button, it comes up, and they'll give about 66% of Zillow as just a shot across the bow. Okay, it's very simple. It's not overthinking. I need to know if these people are motivated. I need to know what their expectations are. Now, initially on the first call, a lot of times they're a little bit guarded. They're going to stiff arm you a bit. They're going to build that shell. They're going to have a lot of reflex no's. And to really define that is like when you go to a car lot and you're walking around and they're like, hey, do you need some help? You're like, no. Well, why are you on a car lot? You know what I mean? But you just have that natural reflex no, because you want to protect yourself. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and you don't want to be sold to, right? So it happens the same at a clothing store or whatever else, or wherever you're going. So anyway, the throwing out that number is going to give you some idea if you're going to be in the ballpark with these people or not. If they say that sounds pretty good, or maybe a little bit more, you know that you've got a really, really hot lead, and you need to be all over it. Okay, so listen, get the number out of them. Get the number out of them. A lot of times they're going to ask you, how much are you going to offer me? How much are you going to offer me? How much are you going to offer me? That's fine. If you want to take a shot across the bow, or you can defer. You know, my partner runs all the numbers. Let me talk to him. You know, I just want to get, condition is important with this property. Can you tell me, have you done any major remodeling to your kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? Can you tell me, if you were to invest into this house, where would you spend your money? What do you think needs to be improved? What do you think needs to be renovated? That type of thing. Those questions are going to draw their condition out of the property, and it's going to open up the conversation, and it's going to allow you to keep asking them what price they want, okay? And then it's going to allow them to feel more comfortable in that conversation, as opposed to just being on the phone for 15 seconds and being like, oh, I want 100,000, and on Zillow it's 250. You know what I mean? That happens, by the way. It does happen. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. So
awesome. Austin says, what do you say to homeowners with liens when calling them? How does that
The
dialogue
same
carry?
thing, guys. Don't overthink this. Just ask them if they would consider an offer on their house. It is a little bit creepy. You're going to cause friction in these conversations if you call up and say, well, according to public record, I see that you owe $7,800 on a private judgment that you got in 2017. People, you want to build rapport? That's not the way to build rapport. I'm telling you, that is not the way to build rapport. The way to build rapport is simply ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. Have an unbelievable tone of voice, right? Don't go too fast at them. Don't go too slow with them. So pacing is really important. And just sound like a neighbor. Don't sound like a credit collector that's asking them about some debts that they owe. You want to talk, you know what people don't want to talk about to a stranger? Debt. Okay? They don't want to just come out and be like, that judgment, that I shouldn't have that, or whatever else, or I'm working on it, or I got that paid off, or anything like that. Just ask them if they'd consider an offer on their property. If it gets into the conversation, you can say, you know what, listen, I work with a lot of people. I understand that you have a recorded judgment on you here. You can ask that later in the conversation if you're building that relationship, if you're building that rapport. And then you can bring that up. But don't just bring it up off the bat and hit them in the face with it, thinking that they're so desperate that they're going to sell their house to you. Could it happen? Sure. Does it happen often? No. In my experience, and trust me, I've tried this. I'm not just saying this because I'm like, I didn't try it out. I tried it. Foreclosures, liens, tax default, all of it. I would start out the conversation with that, and it wouldn't burn. And then I just open it up to being friendly neighbor that want to see if they would consider an offer on their house. And then they naturally would tell me about it, or I would ease it into the conversation. So don't go crazy with it.
Paul Sullivan says, how do you hire and pay your drivers?
All right, this is driving for dollars.
Mm.
A couple different things. Honestly, I just posted to my personal Facebook page. Just saw if anybody wanted to do, Instagram. What else did we do? You did a video.
We did a video on it.
Yep. Did a video just saying that we wanted some drivers to drive around and help build up our Indeed, you can post it Indeed, but really don't worry about any of these things. Just post to your social media and just say you're looking for somebody that wants to drive part-time, and you're going to find a lot of opportunities there. And then just find somebody that's going to be reliable, but also has a schedule. My advice is get somebody that's retired. One, they don't look suspicious driving around, and they're much more kind, and they'll get out of their car and talk to somebody that is in the front of their house, but the house is all beat up. You know what I mean? Or it looks like it has potential, or they might be putting out a sign, like a for sale by owner sign. The older retired people will just get out and go talk to them. So that's what I did. I found some great retirees that would drive around. They wanted to make a little bit of extra money to supplement what they were doing, and they just wanted something to do, to be honest with you. So I think going after retirees is really, really a strong strategy. Yep.
Smart. That's really smart. Okay, our next question is from Donnie Boxy. Brent, do you recommend using DocuSign to send contracts or any other service? Also, do you use it for both in-state and out-of-state?
Yeah, we do. I mean, unless we're going to meet in face-to-face and just get the contract signed, or unless people want to come to our office to sign the contract, we'll just send it DocuSign. I've used it for years. I think that you could use any of them. Honestly, there's a ton of e-signature resources that you could use. So I use DocuSign. It's just simple, easy. It alerts me when the contracts get signed, and then the process starts. So, and that's always exciting when you see that you get that email that the DocuSign is completed. Boom, now you've got that signed contract. Or when you send it to the cash buyer, we almost always exclusively send the DocuSign to our cash buyers because they want it. They're so ready right now that they're going to sign really, really, really quickly. So yeah, it's awesome. In-state and out-of-state. If we're not meeting with them, if we can meet with them, we'll do it face-to-face and just get it signed up. And then what we do is, if we do get it signed face-to-face or anything, I have Turbo Scan. It's an app on my phone that will scan it right there at the table with the seller, and then I send it directly to the title company that fast so that they know we're serious. A little pro tip there.
Little pro tip. Clint Wheeler says, do you run comps on all the leads that come in from your driving for dollars leads, or do you go through them and cherry pick them first?
So it depends on what you mean by lead there, Clint. So a lead is not just that it's in your database, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands. A lead is when somebody says yes, or maybe they would consider an offer on their property. When it comes to that, then yes. When they want to offer on the property, we're pre-qualifying them based on the condition of the property, timeline to sell, motivation to sell, and the price. Then we will, we'll start comping those properties. But I'm not going to send it to my disposition manager to comp, or my acquisition managers to look at the comps unless they want to consider an offer on the property. Listen, don't do work and just hallucinate and assume that you need to know everything about a property before you understand if somebody has a problem that you can solve. Quote unquote motivation. They need to be motivated. Yeah. Remember, with wholesaling property, it's different than traditional property. Traditional, the 94 to 90% of people out there will sell traditionally with a real estate agent. They don't have a problem that you can solve. So it is about the property with these people. The 6 to 10% that we go after that are in distress, it is about the person's motivation, the person's problem. It's not about the property. It's about the problem. It's about their motivation. So you need to get that information before you do any work on it. Now, if you want to go and get some experience comping property, that's fine, but don't get lost in it. Yeah. Don't get lost in this whole thing of doing too much of the analytics before you understand what people's problems are. That's the most important thing in this business. That's why we get big checks. Woo! 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 That's why this is a cash machine, is because we solve the problems of the seller, and then we solve the problems of the cash buyer that needs a property so that they can make a profit.
You can make money.
Ow! Love that money.
And you can make money. So there you go. So guys, thank you so much. We are going to please send the videos of any questions. Whoever sends a video that all 100 picks is going to get some TTP swag and be featured on the video. So we're really excited about that, guys. Until next time,
Talk to people.
talk to people. Love you guys. See ya.
Yeah.